Now, there's one other way that these things can be suppressed, and that's right at the level of manufacturing the messenger RNA in the first place in the nucleus. Now, you can see on this diagram that there are these little things that look like beads, and these beads are histones, which are proteins. There are 8 histones that are wrapped almost 2 times around, not quite, by DNA. The DNA that wraps around the histones is not expressed, and it can move. So you can have changes occurring to those histones, and histones can undergo changes called methylation, phosphorylation, alkylation, that make them more likely to either suppress a gene or to express a gene. And we know that some of this methylation of histones occurs as a result of environmental factors. And in fact, there are studies that are going on right now on how an impoverished environment, living in an environment that's polluted. They just did a study where they looked at babies who were cuddled and hugged and kissed by the parents versus babies who were not, showed different methylation of some of the genes. And indeed, they could follow these kids and find behavioral problems in the kids who did not receive the cuddling and the hugging. So there's definitely something going on here. And this process of either suppressing or turning on genes without this occurring genetically, with it occurring because of histones or because of the action of inhibitory RNAs. This is called epigenetics. So we are not just our genes. We are our genes and the epigenetics and how we are affected both by our external and probably internal environments. If grandma is a smoker, all right, your mother, her daughter, all right, will show epigenetic changes that you see in smokers and will be more likely to develop lung cancer even if she never touches a cigarette. You, the granddaughter, may have those same epigenetic changes that were passed down to you from your mother's egg. Now, it's thought that epigenetic changes go for a couple of generations and then disappear, and then you get the expression, the normal expression of the genes. But we're looking at that. Scientists are looking to see what in the environment can be changed and what in the environment changes the genes. I mean, we know that if you're dealing with stem cells, let's say you had a stem cell and you wanted to make that cell, this very early baby cell, into a heart. How do you do that? You change those histones in some way, shape, or form, and we know how to do that. So if we can do that, on this small cellular level, think of what's happening to many of our cells at the whole organism level as a result of what is going on in our environments. This is a fascinating field. It's going to explode. I'm just illustrating that a gene can be changed. Right. So the environment can affect a gene directly, but the environment can also affect epigenetics. And that's where, I guess I was coming from when I talked about the cuddling of the kids. Right. I mean, that to me is amazing. That suddenly you have a behavior. All right? When I had my son, my sister said, you don't carry him around like this. You shouldn't be carrying him all the time. You should let him be in his crib. You shouldn't put him in your bed. It's all bad for him. No, I don't think so. I have a very happy, well-adjusted adult who was a very happy, well-adjusted child and was very loved. because there's got to be a way that it works. How does someone go from being completely negative? I just went through this with a student yesterday. Student sitting there, I'm asking her questions based on what her exam is going to be, and she's whispering the answers. And I hear some words, and I finally said to her, I'm hearing these words from you, but I can't hear what they are. But it sounds like parts of the words are what you're supposed to be saying. And she said, oh, teacher, she said, I have no confidence. I just don't have any confidence. And I wish you were in the classroom with me. I think you could have figured out pretty quickly what you do with her and say to her, but you're right, you know it. Your lack of confidence is what's destroying your ability to get from here, where you are in this very beginning science course, to there where you want your career.
Lifting the restriction.
Right, and she needed to do that. But, what is the restriction? Wouldn't it be interesting biologically to figure out what the restriction is? Is it just the synapses aren't synapsing right? That they're just not sending out the correct neurotransmitters, or they're sending out negative blocking transmitters instead of positive ones? Or is it, or is there an abnormality in the structure of her brain, or has she been beaten down so much? This is a young woman who probably comes from a fairly poor environment. All right, has she been? And she happens to be a minority. Has she been beaten down so much in her environment? Have her other teachers said to her, "You can't pass because you have too much melanin in your skin"?
Okay.
All right. So yeah, I mean, this woman needs a rocket to propel her out of this. And I wrote her an email last night, and I said, I know that you're going to be successful. I know it because I see it in your personality. And she wrote back to me and she said, thank you for believing in me. Now, is that going to make the difference? No, you probably would make the difference. But I wish we knew biologically to take these people who have potential. This is what you call it.
Yes. And
I mean, you've got to train the people as to how to take this information. And what is training? What is learning? Learning is changing the synaptic structure in the brain.
Yes.
And wouldn't that be something that you could do perhaps in epigenetics? I mean, so when you're looking at all of this, I mean, you're looking at this picture and you know that the picture, takes up half the universe. And it's going to be grabbing all these pieces and adding it to your picture. I think you have a great potential to do something magnificent with this.